Hey kids, I'm Jason McVeigh and I am the Nearview Manager at L3Harris Technologies. My group uses video game technologies to build training content. In just a few moments, I'm going to introduce you to some of the core concepts involved in creating video games. While discussing topics such as video games, there is a wide range of knowledge that varies from person to person. Before we jump into how you create video games, I want to make sure everyone understands what they are, how old the industry is, and how quickly it is growing. Let's start with pointing out what classifies something as a video game. It requires a combination of art and sound that is presented through a screen which requires inputs from a player. That may sound like an incredibly dry explanation for an exciting topic, but games continue to grow in ways no one could have anticipated, which is why the definition has to be so broad. The commercial game industry started in 1971, so it really isn't that old. In 1972, the video game Pong proved to the world that a company could actually be profitable in this industry. Fast forward to the year 2018, and now the game industry generates over $120 billion a year and is continuing to grow. By 2021, the industry is estimated to be worth over $180 billion. To put that into perspective, the games industry is already larger than the music and movie industries combined. One of the main driving forces behind this growth is how easy it has become to access games. Most people play games on their smartphones, but you can also use home consoles, handheld consoles, computers, and even standalone virtual reality headsets. Needless to say, it is a great time to be a gamer. All video games are built using the same basic building blocks: design, art, audio, and programming. The design defines what type of video game you are making. The overall theme, characters, environment, and gameplay mechanics are all elements in the design category. The art of the game, which is represented using 2D or 3D graphics, gives the game its personality. Everything you see and touch is a direct result of the art team working off of designer concepts. The audio in a game uses sound effects and music to draw an emotional response out of the player. This makes the game feel alive and gets your blood pumping during action sequences, or makes you feel uneasy if you can hear an enemy sneaking around the corner. Programming links the player's inputs to actions you see on screen. This could include anything from controlling your character's movements to interacting with a game menu. When all of these building blocks are balanced correctly, you get a great game. Some of the most successful video game franchises, such as Super Mario Bros., figured out a successful formula between each of these building blocks, which they reuse with each new game. Just hearing the music or seeing characters from this franchise is enough to make you know where they came from. Depending on the team size, you typically have two different approaches to game development. Making a game by yourself or as part of a very small team results in the creation of indie games. These are cheaper to create and typically take more risks when it comes to overall design of the game to make them stand out. The most successful indie game ever made is Minecraft, which was originally made by just one person. On the other end of the spectrum, a large development team creates AAA games where each of the game's building blocks are more complex. This type of game development isn't that different from an automobile assembly line. Game development assets get handed off from person to person, getting more refined as it goes through the overall process. Let's identify a few of these additional roles that help create AAA games. The design team includes level designers, writers, system designers, and user experience designers. The art team has concept artists, character artists, environment artists, and technical artists. The sound team includes composers, audio engineers, sound designers, and voice actors. And the software team includes graphical engineers, gameplay engineers, networking engineers, and artificial intelligence engineers. That may sound like a lot, but we are still just scratching the surface. Just look at all of these non-development roles that also support AAA games. The added cost to pay all of these people is why AAA companies typically play it safe. Most don't want to risk going out of business on an unproven gameplay system, which is why both indie and AAA games are equally important to this industry. It can be a little overwhelming to think about everything that goes into making a video game. Thankfully, it is easier than ever to get started, and it doesn't even cost a lot of money. The cheapest and easiest way to get started is a PlayStation 4 game called Dreams. This game has art, audio, and programming tools all included, and is designed to let you create anything you can dream up, which is where the name comes from. Even if you're mildly curious about game development, I would personally start here. If you want to get more advanced, you can use specialized PC software like Game Maker Studio or RPG Maker to create custom games with predefined tools. Think of these programs like an advanced form of Legos, where you are restricted by what the software lets you do, but you don't have to build everything from scratch. Lastly, if you are interested in trying one of the game engines that powers many of your favorite AAA games, you can download either Unreal Engine or Unity for free. These game engines give you the ability to create anything you can think of, but requires a lot of expertise to finish a project. Building your own models, audio files, and textures each requires a different skill set and additional software, which is why these engines are considered professional tools. If you decide to make your own game, keep in mind they're supposed to be fun. It doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, most mobile games are specifically designed to be as simple as possible so you can enjoy them in short gaming spurts when you pull out your phone. I hope you have all enjoyed learning a bit more about how video games are created.